Hey, welcome back to Chasing Trails. My name is Dean. Just want to thank you guys for coming back for yet another video. I'm on another hike today. I've actually already started out. I'm about 1.25 miles in. Didn't want to stop, or didn't want to start it at the beginning because it was in the middle of the small town and there were a lot of people out. I didn't want to be an inconvenience. This trail I'm on today is approximately 13 to 14 miles according to the grid and the map. We will see if that's truly the case. I'm gonna try and get a little bit today. I want to try and make some good time on this. I'll come on and talk to you, of course, periodically and express some thoughts and views. But hey, let's not waste any more time. It's time to get off our fourth point of contact and do it. Does anybody need any firewood? I found some. I got you back. Yeah, so last night I worked all night long. 12-hour shift. Got off at about 5:30 this morning. Got up about 10:30. Got my act together. Picked up my transportation and headed out here. A lot of fun. Okay guys, so on this little trail here I came across this little area, and this house is called Le Chalet de Robinson, which I'm guessing means Robinson's house. As you can see, the lake which surrounds it, if you want to call it that, it's more like a moat. And I'm going to guess that those geese are probably eating toxic chemicals and, I don't know, mutated worms. I have no idea. Mutated fish. But anywho, let's move on, see what other sights we have to see here. So as you can see, I'm walking through a park right now that's part of this route. And you know, it's got all the things parks do. It's got people, men, women, dogs, houses, and of course toxic lakes, because you know I equate those two things. So I have a feeling this is going to be a mostly park walk with trees. Just can't imagine it going that far, but we're going to find out. We've been making pretty good time. I, however, did forget to restart my mileage watch when I stopped briefly. So I need mileage. I'm probably gonna have to add about a half mile on because, you know, I flaked out. Alright, so I'm on kind of a nice little trail. Let me show you. I like the trail here a little bit better than the one I did the other day. Far too much asphalt and concrete for me. Being out the length of this hike, I knew it was going to be a little bit longer today. What I've gone ahead and done is take some preparatory measures. Like traditionally, where I know I've gotten blisters before on forest marches, I went ahead and threw some moleskin on. That way, when I get back later, I don't have any surprises waiting for me when I take my shoes off. Now, I do always carry a first aid kit as well. And when I'm on hikes like this, that first aid kit is center focus is foot care, because you just can't take good enough care of your feet when you're out here. I mean, the better you take care of your feet, the more they'll take care of you. Just saying. Hey, country road, take me home to the place. Yeah, I'm terrible at singing. That's something I will never ever do. I definitely chose the right profession. As far as what I do for a living, obviously, as I said before, I'm in the military. I love my job. Yeah, there are days where I go in and go, man, I wish I wasn't here today. Or wow, this sucks. Yeah, have those moments of those days, but by and large, I love my job. I'm motivated to get in there every day. I get in about a half hour to an hour early before my shift, even if it's a 12-hour shift, and try to do right by my soldiers and by my leadership. I do have really great leadership here, and yeah, my soldiers are okay too. I only say that because I know you're going to be watching this at some point in time, because, yeah, I'll make them. Hey, while I'm walking along here, I just want to say hello to Jackson, my nephew. I know that in the last video I didn't say hi to you specifically, so here it is. Hi from Uncle Dean in Belgium. So while we're walking along here, let me just talk briefly about the next hike, because you know, we're on this hike now, and there'll be another one. Today's Monday, of course. The next one after this is going to be in, that I'm going to try and tape. It's going to be in about 2 or 3 days. Probably be doing it with a couple of guest stars. At least one, maybe two. These are people from my workplace. And yeah, we're going to go at a little bit more rapid pace than normal, so it might be a little bit harder for me to tape. But where there's a will, there's a way. So you'll get to see a different pack on me. I'll be carrying a little bit more weight, and the distance will probably be about 12 miles. His house, my friend's house, has a really nice sized forest out behind it. It's just not a huge forest, obviously. It's a neighborhood, but it's a pretty nice forest, and there's some really old trees there, maybe 100, 150 years old. They're pretty cool. We go up hiking in there, and sometimes we stop and practice our little bushcraft skills, which I haven't taped yet. Me trying to start a fire. Lots of fun. So I'm walking along, and I come across this little valley draw type thing, and it's actually very beautiful. Little small stream. Can tell you that they haven't got enough rain up here lately because everything's so green. I mean, that's like a dead giveaway, right? But anywho, just want to show you this. Let's go ahead and move on. So, climbing a nice little slope here, and just want to talk briefly about things that are kind of annoying in the forest. Yeah, spider webs. Yeah, kind of annoying. More of them in like North Carolina they are here, but still enough to annoy you. Other things that might annoy you in the woods. Flying insects. They're everywhere, man. Like little squadrons flying around in mass formation. Whew, top of the hill. Yeah, so fun. Luckily they're not the stinging type, so that's all good. And the one thing, more than any other, that gets my attention and a little bit of ire are the plants. Now, don't get it wrong, I love plants, I love trees, I love the outdoors, that's all great. But it seems like on these trails, you can try your best, but no matter what, you're going to rub up against a plant, and that plant invariably will have little small spikes by which to stick you by. Yeah, and you feel for a couple minutes, it goes away, but it's kind of annoying. But hey, I'm a grown man, a tough guy. I can handle it. As I walk along, I come across things like these, small bugs on the ground. This obviously is not a bug. This is something entirely different. This is a slug. I don't know what kind of slug it is. You know, I'm not a animal guy. But what I'm going to call it is the poo-poo slug, because that's kind of what it looks like. So here I am. I'm at the halfway point, just about a little bit, around 7 miles, close to 7 miles. You don't see a lot of wildlife in and around the forest of Brussels, obviously. However, I do come across these little small deer, which I can never get on video, which I'd love to get on there. But man, the second they see you, they're like rockets. They're gone. Unlike, say, deer in America, which might just stand there with a dumb look in their eye for a few minutes until they take off, giving you enough time, of course, to turn your camera on record and actually hit them. Maybe one of these times I'll get ninja'd up and sneak up on them and get some pictures. We'll see. So halfway point so far. Been not too bad of a trail. Been some slope, but not much. Not like the one I did the other day. Kind of gradual slopes. Nothing really too steep. Maybe in just very small sections. Yeah, it's been a good hike so far. I'm making really good time, even for going at a slow pace and recording this, which is kind of a good thing. Normally I go a little bit faster, but still, all in all, I'm making really good time compared to last time, so I must be doing something right now when it comes to recording these. So I'm getting better. So every hike I try and just put out something that I picked up on or that I've learned while doing this. Here's a top tip for the newbie like myself. I learned this lesson the hard way. When you're out hiking and you're going any kind of distances, and I know people see it on and off throughout the day, but especially during hiking, take off any jewelry, you know, like rings, because let me tell you, if you don't, they're a real pain later on, because you know, your fingers will swell a little bit, or my experience has been for myself, and I've also seen it in the friends that I also go out with, that the fingers do swell a little bit, you know, and obviously that cuts off circulation in your fingers. So do yourself a favor, take them off when you get back and you relax and you know you've had that shower and your body's cooled down, then you can put it back on. But out here, just don't wear it. So while we're walking along here, let me go ahead and turn you away from my beautiful face and talk to you for a second while you look at what's ahead. You know, I love to talk about things that can make the world easier for newbies like myself, and when I encounter them, and some of them do come from prior experience with military hikes and such. One thing I do want to touch base on is moleskin, which I talked about earlier in the video that I put on my foot because of the distance of the march. You know, once you start getting up around that 10-15 mark, somewhere in there, usually, even if you haven't found them before then, you're going to start getting your hot spots. Now, moleskin is a preventative. It was designed to be put on those hot spots to prevent them from becoming blisters. So, when you're out hiking as a newbie, and say you're going 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever miles, and eventually you're going to start feeling a hot spot, and you'll know a hot spot when you feel it. It'll actually be tender to the touch if you don't get a blister when you're done. So when you do identify that, you know where one or more of your hot spots are on your feet. So what you want to do is the next time you go out, if you're going for more distance, or even from then on, however you want to handle it personally, but you want to go ahead and slap some moleskin on that bad boy. Why? Because man, blisters suck. And if moleskins can stop them, then I say stop them. Now when you put them on, obviously you're putting them on your feet. Now your feet move, they rub your socks, they rub your sock liner, there's friction on the ground from the middle of your feet. What you want to go ahead and do is make sure that when you apply it, you make it a little bit bigger than your hot spot on your foot. So when you're cutting it, cut a square that's a little bit bigger than your hot spot, and then you want to trim around it and make it circular. Because if you make it a rectangle or you make it a square, what'll happen is that slowly but surely it will start to peel back, and then of course it's not doing its job. That's just a top tip for you. So since we've touched on moleskin, let's go ahead and take it another step and talk about blisters themselves. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about the first aid kit that you should be carrying if you're out hiking, especially if you're going to do it seriously. I'll touch base on just a couple things I have in my first aid bag. I just have some different size band-aids, a couple of gauze pads of different sizes, a small pair of scissors, some medical tape, some tweezers, some pins, i.e. bobby, some alcohol swabbies, and Neosporin, and of course some moleskin. You can add to or take away from that whatever you like, but that's like the basics. It's a good start, especially if you're gonna be out here, because that will address most things that you're gonna run into while you're out walking around. Hey, sorry about that, I got a little bit distracted. So yeah, I'm kind of on a causeway next to a body of water now, which is over there. Don't know if you can see it. And a fence. And just got passed by a car, so gotta kind of keep my head on a swivel. I can already see that. Where was I? I left off on blisters. Yeah, keep in mind I'm not a doctor, a nurse, a dentist, a bunny rabbit. I'm none of the above. But what I do know is what works for me. Now, the way I handle a blister, invariably we all have to handle them, is take a needle, you take a lighter, like a big lighter, you heat up the tip of that needle, you stick it in towards the base of the blister, then either something will gush out or you'll have to help it gush out. Pretty nasty, but same time, kind of cool. After that, you want to put the alcohol swab on it, or the antiseptic on it to clean up the wound area, and Neosporin. Hold on, again, sorry about that, I had to talk to somebody. After the Neosporin, you want to go ahead and cover it. That's where those gauze pads and tape can come in, depending on how far you got left, or heck, you could really put moleskin on there, but you know, when you take that off, what's going to come off with it? So usually a gauze pad and band-aid sufficient. You're probably not going to get a new blister there now. But then again, that's just how I treat them. I'm sure a doctor or a nurse or your mom or my mom or the world probably disagree with me, but that's life. So let me tell you, if you have a fence saw and too much time on your hands, you can create your own mushroom out of a stump, or mushroom out of a stump, or how about face kind of thing out of a stump. Hey, so you know, this would be the perfect time to try out a survival straw. You know, got a water source right here, stick it in there, take a drink, or just use the water we brought. So here's a felled tree, pretty big stump, pretty cool. Got the little, there's the rest of it right there. Got the little moss on it. You know, there's a old wives' tale that says if you lick moss off a tree, you will have 12 years of good luck. Tell me how that works out for you. So here's some pretty scenery for you. I came across this and I was like, this is definitely worth remembering. Kind of clearing, nice older trees, younger trees, and over here, solid hill. Just showing you some scenery. Now, back to the trail. Hey, so I just came out of the scenic area there I was just at and shot that little bit of footage for you. And this is what I walk into. Yeah. Fortunately, we're getting pretty close to being done here. I probably got about 3 miles or so left. If anything notable comes along, worthy of mentioning or photographing, I will be sure to turn this on. In the meantime, I'm gonna trudge this hill. I'm gonna work my way through what's probably gonna be the next hill. And then, we're gonna be in the home stretch. I'm gonna be moving. So next time you hear from me, we'll probably be at the end of this. I'll talk a little bit about my overall assessment of this trail. And close this video out. See you in a bit. Okay, well, I'm all finished with my hike. I was going to do this final thing from there. However, there were a lot of people at the park at the end of the day, which, okay, whatever. And then the town was pretty busy, so I decided just to hold off until I got back to the apartment to talk about the trip I did. All in all, the total ended up being right at 14 miles, so it was a pretty good route. Did it in about 3.5, 4 hours, which, considering time for shooting, is pretty good. The route itself is what I would call somewhere between easy and medium. If you're looking for that good stepstone to go from easy routes to medium level routes, this would probably be the one for you. There's not a lot of slopes until the end, and then there's a couple, but they're not really all that bad, and they don't go on forever, so that's a good thing. Other than that, I had no gear issues to speak of. Everything handled or performed as expected. My preemptive measures with the moleskin worked wonders. No blisters, which is what I was afraid of. Only had to put it on in 2 spots, but by the time I got back, I was golden. In closing, once again, I enjoyed the route. It was a fun route to walk. It was very scenic. Lots of trees, lots of forest time. Some time in the park, which was so-so. That water pit where the house was, so-so. But there was a lot of forest time, and that was very good. So to finish, I just want to say, hey, get off your 4-point and do it.